Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. It's great to be here in Thompson and to be doing this announcement with my colleague, Minister Rochelle Squires. My name is Cameron Friesen. I'm the Minister of Justice and Attorney General for the province of Manitoba. And I'd like to begin by acknowledging that we're here on ancestral lands, Treaty 5 territory, the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota, Dene, and Métis people. And as I said, today I'm here with my colleague, Rochelle Squires, but also with Mayor Colleen Smoot, the Mayor of Thompson, and also with Manitoba RCMP North District Commander Chris Hasty. Chris, where did you go? Oh, way at the back. Hi, Chris. Our government understands the importance of protecting youth at risk in communities. We understand that when we join together, we are able to accomplish much more. And StreetReach is just one reminder of that. And so I would like to, at this time, invite Rochelle Squires to come and to speak and to provide an update on StreetReach North. Minister Squires?
Great. Thank you, Minister Friesen. And it is such a joy to be up here in Thompson. I was saying to my good friend, Mayor Smook, that it's long overdue that we're up here in Thompson, and of course the pandemic had prevented us from being up here for the last few years. So I'm just really honored and delighted to be up here on Treaty 5 territory with all of you, and to personally congratulate you for some of the good work that you're doing here in Thompson. We know that the pandemic has been an incredibly difficult time, and our vulnerable youth are undoubtedly hit the hardest. And so really honored to have spent some time getting to know Billy Jo and her team at StreetReach and the amazing work that is being conducted there. It was a real honor last night to come together as a community and to be part of the community and to be welcomed. Minister Friesen and I were very delighted to participate in the MMIWG walk, and words that will stay with me for a very long time were Grand Chief Garrison Setti's words that we do this because their lives matter. And that is something that each and every one of us are committed to, and it's demonstrated in the work that you do, it's demonstrated in the town's support, and it's demonstrated each time the town comes together and is willing to give a compassionate ear and a friendly hand up to those who need it the most. So I want to thank Dee and all of her team at this Friendship Center. I just found out that this Friendship Center is the first one in Canada that was built from the ground up. And what a beautiful facility that we are in. And I was delighted to hear how they were able to keep it operational throughout the entire pandemic, and to be supporting their clients and to be offering services in a safe manner throughout the pandemic. So as Minister Friesen noted, we are joined by our friend Mayor Colleen Smoot, who has been such a wonderful advocate for her community, as well as by the Manitoba RCMP North District Commander Chris Hasty, who I know has been working hard on a number of safety and well-being initiatives here in Thompson. We are here today to provide an update on the StreetReach North program, which is a successful approach to preventing sexual exploitation that is helping to protect youth at risk in Thompson and the surrounding regions. Our government understands that protecting high-risk victims calls for a multidisciplinary approach where professionals from a variety of fields work together and communities come together to keep our youth safe. That is why we invested more than $2.1 million to re-establish StreetReach North in Thompson in 2019. A great deal has been accomplished since then, and I'm pleased to provide an update on the success of the program. The StreetReach model brings together representatives from child welfare agencies, law enforcement, and non-governmental organizations to protect children and youth at high risk of violent victimization through the sex trade. This group works together to prevent children and youth from running away from home or other residence, prevent future sexual abuse and exploitation, redirect runaway children to stop them from being victimized, and to intervene with those who exploit these young, high-risk victims. StreetReach North also focuses on creating opportunities to build and strengthen cultural connections, bridging the gaps in service and strengthening partnerships among key stakeholders to address mental health and addictions. The Manitoba government announced one-time investment of $124,000 to reestablish the program in Thompson, as well as annual funding totaling more than $2 million over 3 years. StreetReach North is now operating out of the McDonald Youth Services Safe House, which enables the team to build relationships with youth who are accessing services there. And I would say, especially after my conversation with members of the StreetReach team last night, that relationships are key and they're foundational to changing the lives of the children and youth that they are working with. In addition to McDonald's Youth Services, other key partners include the Oasis Agency of Northern Manitoba, the City of Thompson, as well as the RCMP. We're pleased to have our partners here today, and we are going to hear from them shortly. But before I turn it over to Mayor Smook, I want to note that from June of 2020 to August of 2021, StreetReach North has helped to return a minimum of 473 children and youth to their placements or places of safety, and has made over 2,500 relationship building contacts with youth. These are incredibly heartening statistics, and I'm so pleased to know that the StreetReach model is helping kids here in Thompson. StreetReach is part of Tracy's Trust, which is the Manitoba government's strategy to prevent sexual exploitation of children and youth. Our government's investment in StreetReach builds on that strategy and addresses the recommendations made by the Manitoba Advocate for Children and Youth and the Virgo Report. We are proud to support this initiative and to keep in helping keeping kids safe. So before I conclude, I want to recognize and thank all of our partners here in Thompson who are working hard to protect youth at risk and the surrounding regions. We continue to support you, and we look forward to the ongoing success of your wonderful program. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup, Ingrid.
Thank you, Minister Squires. That's excellent news, and it's incredible to hear how StreetReach is making a difference. I know yesterday on the MMIWG walk, we had a chance to walk with Billy Joe and just and hear right from the source what does it mean to work at StreetReach? What does a day in the life of StreetReach look like? And it was really enlightening to hear how through relationship building, you've got a team that can appropriately and safely and with trust return kids and then keep them from danger. So that's just exactly what we want to be doing. When we bridge the gaps in service by bringing together key stakeholders like this, we strengthen partnerships, we strengthen connections, we strengthen trust within our communities. And working together means that early intervention is possible. And working together means that youth who are missing can be located and returned safely and quickly. So we do thank all of our partners for their ongoing work. Mayor Smook, I'd like to now invite you to come to the podium and to share a few words.
Thank you. It's definitely my honor. I just feel so humbled to be included in this announcement today. I have talked about StreetReach needing in this community for long before even my council term. We had a couple of foster kids go through our family and that were definitely requiring services, and just to know that they actually, one of them was one of likely our first candidates through there, was it just to a granny, it makes your heart feel good. So we knew before we got StreetReach how beneficial it was going to be to our community, and thank you to Billy Joe and all the team. You have definitely proved that that is neat. But without the provincial support, it definitely wouldn't have started again. So thank all of you for being with us at this table. The RCMP have been invaluable. Our RCMP are taxed to their maximum with a lot of things. And when you get those 10 o'clock curfews at the youth homes and that, and then they get calls that we have another 15 children maybe to find tonight, some things are dropped to prioritize, especially if it's, you know, really high risk exploited youth. So only if you're a parent, grandparent, friend of a family with the kids do you totally understand this. So thank you just the community well. And we're just going to launch as this afternoon our community well-being and safety strategy. This is just showing how the work ahead before it launched is that it has proven to our community that this path that we're on is the right one. It just proves Canadian Tire Jumpstart came back on with this huge, $700,000 playground, as some of our community calls it. It's just the businesses that have come on, the City Centre Mall that has taken initiative to be out there at 6 in the morning cleaning up around there. But what it has really challenged, it is those who exploit our youth, those who cause harm to our youth, those who don't appreciate our youth. And many of our youth that are in Thompson, they're residents of Thompson, but they may have come from other communities for different reasons, whether, they needed better care than out there. Many children, once you hit 14 years old, and that's 14, you no longer have a high school in your community, so you're almost forced to come to Thompson. So those children then, are easy prey for, gangs, drugs, whatever. So, and now that we have StreetReach and working with the AWASAs, working with the homes, it's just, I just can't say how much of a difference. When Chris Hasty would come and give numbers about numbers of break-ins and all this and crimes committed by youth and that, it was staggering a couple years ago. When you can come in and we can look as a council and say, like, wow, right off the hop, a third of it's gone. Then a few months later, half of it's cut down. Like, these are big things for our city. Our city has faced a lot of challenges over this last, 20, 30 years. Homelessness isn't a new thing. Child exploitation isn't a new thing. But now we're dealing with it. We swept it out under the rug. It's brought up, and only thanks to the government, thanks to Mama Weetuck for always being there, whether it be day camps, daycare, supporting families. They're always here for us, as are a lot of other entities. So thank you to all that have joined us here today, and I can only say that we'll do you proud with the StreetReach as we go forward. Thank you very much.
Mayor Smook, thanks for your remarks. Thanks for your advocacy, for your compassion, for your leadership in the community. I know that Minister Squires and I are here for 2 days. We've got senior staff that are with us here from our various departments, our respective departments, and our schedules are very busy, but we've been doing a lot of learning. We were comparing notes yesterday, and myself and my department had an excellent meeting yesterday with the City of Thompson, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, councillors, and City Manager. So thank you for that, Anthony. Thanks for that engagement as well. Thompson is a unique community, and as the Mayor has so well explained, facing challenges that come from beyond its city borders, a real hub for the North, but really determined people. People who are determined to find the way forward, to carve that path, and to build a real community, even in the difficult circumstances that the pandemic presents. So thank you. At this time, I want to invite Chris Hasty, Manitoba RCMP North District Commander, to come all the way from the back of the room and to provide some comments to us. Chris, please.
Good morning. Like Mayor Smook mentioned, I'm kind of a numbers person, so I'm going to start it off with some numbers here. In 2018, Thompson Detachment received approximately 2,600 reports of missing persons. The following year, in 2019, Thompson Detachment received approximately 2,300 reports of missing persons. Approximately 90% of these missing persons were high-risk runaway youth. Of this large volume of AWOLs, as they're reported to the RCMP, a significant percentage were attributed to a small group of youth in the community who frequently miss their house curfews and report as missing to the detachment. Any report made of a missing person is treated as a high priority and requires timely action without delay by the police. The consistent support of StreetReach program has served as a significant tool for the Thompson RCMP detachment to ensure these youth are safeguarded in a timely manner without further impacting operational police resources. Based on their partnership with the Thompson RCMP detachment, StreetReach immediately becomes engaged in the first instance of these AWOL reports to try and locate these youth and minimize any direct or indirect risk to their safety. StreetReach has thus now developed a positive and enriching rapport with many of these youth, and through strong connections and relationships is often able to locate these youth soon thereafter after they are reported missing, greatly reducing their risk to harm. When they are located, StreetReach is able to meet with these youth to determine their pressing personal issues or conflicts and determine why they did not return overnight. StreetReach also often acts as a means for the youth to express themselves and share their views or perceptions about their personal experiences with the social pressures here in Thompson. The StreetReach program provides high-risk youth in Thompson the opportunity to directly connect with frontline support workers when they are in personal crisis and ensure they receive timely assistance and guidance to sustain their overall health and well-being. As opposed to first encountering a uniformed police officer when they are missing or in critical need, a youth now has the concise viability and intention of a social outreach worker who can ensure they receive the best supports and connects with other agencies as required. The reimplementation of StreetReach in Thompson in mid-2020 has been a significant success for the City of Thompson. Last year, Thompson Detachment received approximately 1,500 missing persons reports. So between 2019 and 2020, there was a 35% reduction in missing persons reports. Quite a significant decline. This year, Thompson Detachment is on track to receive approximately 1,500 missing reports. Again, this reduction is significantly lower than the peak year of 2018. I am cognizant this decline occurred during the midst of a socially restrictive pandemic. However, the presence of StreetReach and the downturn of reports in this community since June 2020 has provided ample factual evidence on the benefits of how the proper social outreach program can greatly offset the demand on police resources being tasked with non-criminal matters in social welfare settings. This program continues to be a success in the City of Thompson, which has resulted in fewer runaway youth calls to police, all the while ensuring youth are safeguarded from social issues and crime, either as an offender or a victim. As the former officer in charge of Thompson Detachment, I am duly cognizant of the day-to-day operational demands placed on the frontline member here in Thompson. An increasing local call volume coupled with Canada's highest crime severity index for overall crime, violent crime, lends credence to the much-needed requirement for this program here in Thompson. The support from StreetReach for the frontline police officer and police operations in Thompson has enabled the detachment to focus more concisely on serious criminal matters and allow more resource flexibility to achieve its broad public safety mandate. Notwithstanding the day-to-day efforts of StreetReach, continue to ensure runaway youth are located safe and sound, which for myself as a detaching commander is always a genuine relief, and win for that matter, knowing the high-risk nature of these reports. Finally, special thanks to Billy Joe Thompson for her guidance and leadership in restarting this program here in Thompson. In typical Thompson fashion, I believe the first night StreetReach was back in operation, they hit the ground running and encountered youth who had just been assaulted and robbed. In this instance, Billy Joe and her team were able to provide on-scene support to the youth prior to the police being dispatched and responding. Billy Joe's commitment and dedication to this program has undoubtedly been key to its success and the foundation for the program's future endeavors here in the City of Thompson. Thank you.
District Commander, thanks for your words. Billy Joe and your team, thank you so much. You make the difference every day. Those are just staggering statistics to hear, those volume numbers, but the way those numbers are coming down, it speaks to the difference that's being made in this community every day. So that's the end of our formal program. And I think at this point in time, we will invite the media to ask the tough questions of Minister Squires or of the StreetReach team or of the mayor or anyone else. So I'll leave from the podium, but please, anyone with questions.
Anyone have any questions? Yeah. Come forward.
I'm not involved with CHTM or UCH. With the success of StreetReach here in Thompson, are there any discussions of extending similar initiatives in other urban centers?
Can you hear the question?
I can't.
Could you
Maybe
come
you
a
can
little bit closer because it's hard to hear?
Okay. So my question was, with the success of StreetReach, as you talked about earlier with the statistics, are there similar initiatives planned for other northern urban centers in Manitoba?
So that is a great question and something that we're looking at as we speak. certainly we are very excited about the success that we're seeing here in Thompson, about the relationships that StreetReach North is building with at-risk youth and how they're changing lives and changing this community. And so we're looking at this model. It's something that we're very interested in. It's something that we have a lot of confidence in, and we'll continue to look for opportunities to help at-risk youth and initiatives that will help them on a go-forward basis.
And my second question is, it was talked about earlier when Constable Hastings was talking, or Sergeant Hastings was talking, excuse me, about how the pandemic may have affected some of the stats, and it may have prevented certain youth from not going out there, and so it may have skewed the numbers a bit. So as people get more acclimated to the pandemic, or as we return back to normal living, what does the province project or predict those numbers to look like? Will it be more youth potentially intercepted through this program? Could you speak a bit more to that?
Well, certainly if we know one thing about this pandemic, it's that it's incredibly unpredictable. And so we've stopped making predictions as to what's right around the corner and when this pandemic will end. As we all know, right now we're in a fourth wave, and still dealing with those ramifications. We're also dealing with so many other complex variables and situations that have arisen throughout the last year and a half. And another thing that we've learned throughout this pandemic is, though we may all be in the same storm, we're not all in the same boat. And that means that there are some populations and some groups of people and some kids who are more at risk than others. We recognize children who are living in foster care or placements are particularly at risk, and that is why our government extended programs and services to kids living in care to the age of 21, so that no kid would age out of foster care during this tumultuous time in our communities. And we've extended those benefits. Right now they are extended until March of next fiscal year, and we're taking it as on a day-by-day approach, because we don't know where this pandemic is going to lead us. We don't know when the end will be announced, and we don't know what society will look like when this is through and we all have returned to what we consider normal. And so it's requiring a nimble approach and flexibility, and that is why I'm especially grateful for being up here right now, building those relationships with community. And I know that Mayor Smook, and I know that Billy Joe and all the community advocates won't hesitate to pick up the phone and let us know when there's a need that needs to be addressed.
Thank you for your answers.
You're welcome.
Yeah, is there anything new being announced about the program today, or is this just updating what was announced when it was brought back?
Certainly very pleased to come up here and provide an update and to talk about the 500 children and youth who have been rescued by StreetReach since we launched it in 2019. And when we think about 500 youth and the relationships that they've built, and as frightened at-risk youth, what that's meant is that when they have gone missing for whatever reason, they've had a friendly person come and talk to them about the circumstances that they find themselves in, as opposed to someone that may be a little bit more frightening, such as law enforcement. And we think that that's really significant, and so really pleased to be up here to provide an announcement, to provide the community of Thompson a report on how that $2 million investment is working in this community, and to pledge our support to the program.
And this is maybe a little bit more operational, but so it might not be the best for you. But I guess, kids are going AWOL or running away. StreetReach is finding them. They're coming back. That's sort of, that's treating a symptom. But is there follow-up that happens with, clients that sort of figure out why this keeps happening?
Well, I do believe that StreetReach makes those contacts, and certainly I don't want to speak for Billy Joe, put her on the spot, but she could probably tell you many stories about how it's not a one-day initiative. It's really about building a relationship, and it's talking with all the other stakeholders, whether it's someone from a WASIS CFS agency, whether it's a different social worker, whether it's a foster parent who's involved in that youth's life. There are many variables, and StreetReach takes the time. They're invested in these kids. They're invested in the relationship, and it's really through that relationship that they can get at the greater cause of the challenge and provide solutions.
And I guess it's the province looking at, or having talks with anyone, maybe the city of Thompson, about other programs that help alleviate a strain on police. Like I'm thinking community safety officer program, which started out a lot bigger than it is now. Now it's sort of on life support at the moment. Is that something that you guys talk about?
I'll turn that over to my friend.
Absolutely. I'd love to give an answer to that question. I have with me today my Deputy Minister, Dave Wright, seated right over there. I also have with me my Assistant Deputy Minister, Mike Kopang. Sorry, Chris, we stole him from the RCMP just months ago. Mike is new in his role. But we are very involved in these discussions about what those other roles could look like and will look like in the province of Manitoba to additionally assist with police. So what we're trying to do, of course, is use police to the maximum effectiveness that we can. In order to do this, programs like the Community Safety Officer Program are very helpful. As you say, in Thompson, we have operated a successful Community Safety Officer Program. You'll remember that just very recently in the province of Manitoba, we've provided an update on our institutional safety officers, which is one of those forms of support that we can offer police. But we're thinking in the direction, and we shared this yesterday with the City of Thompson, and I have to say that the Mayor and Deputy Mayor raised this issue for discussion yesterday. We are thinking hard about the leadership that Mike is in the position to give right now, to think what is the best way to provide for that array of other public safety officer, or that complement to best help police. I think the best answer I can give you today is we are working hard to understand what that path forward is. We're looking at other jurisdictional models. We are continuing with our institutional safety officer design that was intended first off for hospitals and post-secondary campuses, but clearly there is opportunities beyond that, and also the training of our First Nations safety officers. All of this could be incorporated as we move forward to understand how do we best in a community support the work of traditional policing, but protect that resource maximally, and then do what groups like StreetReach are doing, and that is to build that relationship and to build that trust in a way that provides the best outcome. Stay tuned. We're on it.
Thank you.
If there's no other questions, I don't know if StreetReach wanted to give an answer just to that last question that was asked by the reporter. I could see a lot of you nodding at the table when the question was asked. So if you want to, the podium's yours, and then we'll wrap it after that. What do you think, Bill Joe?
Sure.
Okay.
One of the directives of StreetReach is to identify the needs of the youth when locating them. So whether that be attaching them to mental health services, AFM, back with family, identifying needs, re-registering them, getting them back to school. We identify those and work with their caseworkers to do those things. So we're just not returning because we're identifying. We want to look into why they're going missing and what we can do to change that and attach them to the resource. Help stabilize them so that they're not being reported and coming on the radar as such.
Are you finding like some success with less, it occurring less frequently, or some people like
Yeah,
not doing it at
absolutely.
all?
We have kids, youth on our list that have, stabilized. They're not going missing as often. Sometimes, they may have been missing several times a week, and now it might be monthly. All those things are, small successes, just getting the kids to stabilize and stay in placement. So yeah, we do have, we've had several youth that have, come through with us and have moved off our list of stuff because they've stabilized and they're no longer missing.
Minister Squires, Mayor Smoot, Member Hasty, special guest, StreetReach, Billy Joe and your team. High fives to you guys. Thank you for all the work that you will continue to do after today. And thank you for the work that you've done until this time to help stabilize those youth, get them a safe place, and get them back to where they belong. Thanks everyone for coming. Have a great day.